squared plus b squared equals c squared. What that means is that if you take one leg and square it and add it to the other leg and square it, it should equal what the length of the hypotenuse squared. So there's a combination of, we could get all three of them, and they could tell you check and see if it's true. Is 3 squared 9 plus 4 squared 16 equal to 5 squared 25? Does 9 plus 16 equal 25? What's 9 plus 16? 25. So this is in fact a right triangle. That's true. Now, part of the homework will be just that, you just checking to see if it's true. The other part is they'll give you a combination. They may give you A and B and you have to find C. Or they may give you A and C and you have to find B. Or they may give you C and B and you have to find A. So that's where the converse statements come in for those. So if we scroll down to example 1, it says, find the length of the hypotenuse. Oh, and I wrote up here, A is always a leg, B is a leg, and C is the hypotenuse. Yes?
If we use A and B and each was plus C, is that anything we're supposed to add to it?
No, they're just supposed to equal each other. It's an equation, so what's on the left is supposed to equal what's on the right. So on example 1, it says find the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle that has a leg length of 15 and 36. So since they gave us the legs, those are both A and B. So it doesn't matter if you do 15 squared plus 36 squared or 36 squared plus 15 squared. I'm just going to do it in order from left to right. So what they're saying is that if I take 15 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 examples. Right now, I want you to try to do those on your own. Okay, and I'm going to put the work up there. So I want you to try to work them on your own by using your notes. And then I'm going to put the solutions up there for you to check. Okay, and make sure that you're checking your work with my work so that we can make sure that, or see where you get it wrong or how you did it right. Oh, and it said around here's 10, so make sure you see that too. Okay, so make sure you're checking your work. So on number 2, they gave us A and C, and we had to find B. So we ended up having to work backwards, the converse statement. So I took 7.8 and I squared it, which I got 60.84, plus B squared, what I'm trying to find, equals 13 squared, which 13 squared is 169. Then I had to subtract 60.84 from both sides. When I did that, I got B squared equals 108.16. So I took the square root and I got 10.4. Any questions on that? 24 squared was 576. 26 squared is 676. So to get 8 by itself, I had to subtract 576 from both sides. So 676 minus